Network. Brad and Kasey have been doing these interviews out there. They are an amazing couple. Brad, you were a contractor, right? He was a contractor and had a near-death experience in a massive car accident, and a collective group called Julius came through to him. He hadn't yet met Kasey, and now Kasey is channeling this ascended master group called Julian, and you're in for a real treat. They're going to be bringing through Julius with the channeling and an activation. So stay tuned, okay? Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you.
Julian.
That's good. Everybody.
It's all good. My name's Brad Wallis. 12 years ago, I was in a horrible car accident. Changed my life. I got the unique experience of visiting. Excuse me, I get a little emotional. I got to visit with a student of mine from a prior lifetime known as Julius. Julius and I had shared that life experience, and I taught Julius the real meaning of what it is to be human and what the human existence is all about. And then I agreed to come back to the planet, to this existence, and literally knock myself over the head and completely forget about all that and learn to do it all over again. And so during my accident, I spent 8 hours in human time, and it's documented. The doctor had walked in the room and had said I wasn't going to make it, and if anybody came to say goodbye to me, that they needed to come into the room. And the minute everyone walked in, I shot up out of the bed. Scared the hell out of the doctor. He actually was a very good friend of mine at the time, and he hasn't talked to me since. That's how it shook him up. And Kasey walks in. And because of my brain injury, I wasn't allowed, I had to learn how to walk and talk all over again, how to do things human all over again. And through Julius's help, within a year, we had bypassed the damage that had been done to my brain and activated dormant parts of my brain, and I'm now functioned and run 5 divisions of our company. And part of my therapy was writing, and we wrote a book. The editor says, "Man, where's this material come from? And can you do it in front of an audience?" And so I got the bright idea of actually taking us out on the road and putting us out in front of people and explaining to people exactly what the human experience is all about. So what you're going to witness, with the permission of Julius, and they're already here, is, and be prepared, because the energies, if you haven't noticed that it's already started to change, I'm already sweating, but the energy is going to change in this room. They're very high energy. They have lots of powerful energy to them. And I'm going to turn the time over to Julius, and they're going to explain to you, I think what they're going to explain to you is an important part of the human existence. But they will sometimes change their subject matter pertaining on what you folks in the audience need to hear. So here we go. It's all yours.
Masters, it is our greatest honor to be with you today, for you are the most extraordinary beings that ever created their own selves into the physical. You have, of course, forgotten most of this, but we are here to assure you of this truth and stand here in witness of your absolute magnificence. We honor you, and perhaps in your desire to honor yourselves and remember your own selves fully, you will give us all that same honor as well. Masters, there was a time when you existed as an extended version of thought, as light beings, as light being. For we support that the best word to describe to you what source of all things are is an energy frequency known as thought. You believe that you know what thought is because you receive some particles of that energy and you develop a reality from those particles, and so you believe that you have an understanding of what all thought is. But we assure you that the power and the quantum field of this existence that creates all things is truly immeasurable, and you are that energy. In a desire to continue to know yourself as an expansiveness of all possibilities, you felt yourselves into light, and light was the first demonstration of your own selves back to you, of an aspect of what you could be. We support, Masters, that is the launching of souls, that a soul is the emotional processor of thought. That means that you take thought, you feel a way about it, and something becomes. It is extraordinary, and you are in a never-ending, ongoing state of this beingness, and that is great news. Because no matter what you perceive yourselves to be in this moment of now, you shall be expanded and extended in your next. And it will never stop. And we want that to be joyous for you, not frustrating for you as a human physical embodiment. And that is why we honor and know you so well. As light, Masters, you create all things physical, for there are more of you than you could possibly imagine. But what you have forgotten is that you all are thought expanded into light, not dropped down from light. Thought. You are thought expanded. You are not dropped down from thought. You are not less than thought in being light. You are expanded from thought in being light. And so, Masters, as physical forms, you are an expansion of the very energy that you are simultaneously in a never-ending, ongoing state. Now imagine if you had been told this upon origin of your arrival, where you would be today, what you would be doing. We are here in a desire to reawaken you and remind you of this truth, Masters, and to tell you what separated you from this knowing. It is an energy dissolvement from authentic thought field of energy in such a low vibration of itself that it separates your remembrance process, and it is called by you to be fear. Fear is the most limited version of yourselves that you have possibly ever bought into and accepted. It is that which separates you. It is that which holds you in a space where you believe that there is an energy force that lives outside of you, that governs things, that plans things, that contracts things, and you're basically screwed unless you follow the instructions or follow the rules. And we are here to tell you, go bigger. Go just a little bigger. This is the most incredible process because it means that every single light field or source experience that anyone ever is God. Whatever you perceive that to be. And we accept your perception of that, Masters, because if we did not, we would be judging an aspect of ourselves. And we would never do that. for that thrusts us into limitation. All things limited in your life experience, masters, is coming from the energy field of fear transferred down into a perception of judgment and limitation. And that is a truth. There is an extraordinary time field occurring, according to so many, that there is an energy ribbonizing force hovering, inserting, extracting, propelling all possible beings that choose to live in a higher consciousness state into an extraordinary accelerated state of themselves. That is a truth. Those who choose to work on their consciousness, let us repeat that one more time. Those who choose to work on their consciousness can, in fact, experience an extraordinary accelerated field. The good news is you're not left behind, because that's an impossibility. But as a human component binary product of polarized thought, you usually get pretty eager to be part of the all-star team. Masters, the misconception is that something or someone else is going to do this for you, and we are encouraging you not to wait around for that, for it is you that will make this move. You get to make this move. This is just like Escape from Alcatraz, where you can get and sit in that locked cell of fear, and you have a spoon, and you could start digging your way out behind the poster, one spoon at a time, knowing that eventually you will escape the prison of fear. Now, some of you will be very enthusiastic and inspired to do so, despite that it might take a while, because all you have is a spoon. And everyone else in the prison will say, that's crazy. I'd rather sit in a life sentence of fear than take as long as it's going to take you to escape. And then there's the guy with the spoon, and every day he knows he's moved a little farther into freedom or love. And every day, with a smile on his face, 5 more scoops are taken out. Eventually, of course, with this tenacity and audacity and determination, he will reach a place in the cinder block, where he will weaken the fear so much that it will come tumbling down and he will walk out. And that is your conscious journey, masters. It is the truth. You can repaint your cell, you can decorate your cell, you can have other people come in and share your cell to try to make it a fun and happy place, or you can get the hell out of there and know yourselves as the all. Because we know that with some of the pain and the suffering that you have created for you in this life, you feel imprisoned. And you are waiting for someone to bring you a key, but we're going to give you a spoon. It's going to be okay, because that way you know you will dig yourselves out. And not just wait for the guard to go off duty and hope for an opportunity. You will create it yourselves. It is fear that imprisons you, master. And the number one byproduct of fear is something called judgment. It is fear in demonstration of itself. It is limitation and separation. And every single one of you remaining in the physical aspect of your own self have far more judgment going on in your thought process than you realize. Because judgment erodes and ages. And if you are aging, you are judging more than accepting. That is the truth. Your physical bodies were designed for you, by you, to be in a continual state of rejuvenation based on a high energy activated field that stimulates your circulatory system to pour out an energy frequency of hormones that are constantly putting a diverse atomic spin on all of your cellular components, and you are in constant rejuvenation, so much that you can change the configuration of your embodiments if you choose, and we do assure you you have done this before, and we reassure you that you do it in all kinds of realities for yourself. Isn't that awesome? Because it's who you are, and you may have it any time that you choose. But what do you choose? You choose fear and judgment. It's true. Isn't that awesome too? Because that means you're creating this. That's the best news that we could tell you. You have the spoon. Just look. It's the best news we can give you. Now, when you release fear, when you let go of judgment of all thoughts, so we are not talking about judgment of your neighbor, we are not talking about judgment of your daughter-in-law, we're talking about judgment of all thought. If you believe that polarity is an ultimate truth, we will tell you it is a limitation. It is a limitation of physical, because the field of light into physical goes through a process of ionized polarization, gastric movements, in which materialized material particles adhere. But you are a light field of thought in ultimate reality above that. So anything that you accept as a physical plane does in fact be created from a polarized version of thought, but you are not that. The chair is. You either like the chair or you don't. But the ultimate version of yourself does not judge any aspect of thought, because it is you. And your perception is how you determine that thought, because we can guarantee that any given thought can be perceived from a high frequency point of view or a low frequency point of view, period. And if you have a hard time with that, that's okay. You will eventually get to that point as you continue to work on dissolving away judgment and fear from your reality. By the way, did we tell you that you're a film projector? Each of you are a film projector, and you are projecting this room the way you see it, the way you agree that it is, the way that you create it from. It is a truth. And when you sit in a low field of consciousness, you buy into what this extraordinary, beautiful, light being, crystallized version of a star jumper sees, because you're intermingling with each other. And we love that. Except if it's in limitation, it sucks, because you get locked in. Now you have the extraordinary being come walking along, and they're like, I see something completely different. And you're like, wait. You mean you see this room differently than I see it? Well, you're wrong. And the other person says, if that's what you think. But I know that I am God, and I am creating my own projected field of reality, and I love that. Now, high-frequency beings will project generally a field of reality that has unlimited possibility to it, and therefore continually walk in joy on this realm, continually rejuvenating their bodies on this realm, and creating a life reality for themselves of extraordinary that you cannot imagine yet. Or they will suffer. All is good, because all thought is. If you have limitation in your life, you have judgment in your life and fear. That's okay. It's okay, because you have a spoon. Your spoon is your conscious journey. It is the journey back to knowing that you are the energy that launched souls, simultaneously being the soul for which you have launched. You're pretty big, and you're growing in every moment of now. The difference between low levels of consciousness and high levels of consciousness is judgment. We support, Masters, that there are three primary teachings to any physical experience. One are the 7 levels of consciousness. 2 are the 7 energy frequency bandwidths, which represent your state of consciousness that are emitted from your physical bodies, which demonstrate and create your realities for you, and the 7 embodiments that you become through the wisdom applications of your journey through your consciousness. The first 3 fields of consciousness, subconsciousness, social consciousness, and conscious awareness, are still primarily wrapped in fear, because in those 3 levels, even conscious awareness, you're probably still aging. And you probably have some limitations in your life. Some limitations. Health, relationship, money, whatever matters to you on the physical realm that you have created or materialized from light for yourself, in order to reflect back to you your knowing as a reminder. Then there is what we refer to as bridge consciousness. Bridge is a big one. It's where you let go of all fear and all judgment of thought. Then you hit a super consciousness state, a 5th level of consciousness where you are living and breathing the truth as it is known, and your bodies shift and your reality shifts. Your truth is revealed and your life starts to shift into extraordinary. From there, to support the gentleman speaking before, is what is mostly known as a Christ consciousness state, or hyper consciousness state. 6th level, you know the story. Changing water to wine, feeding everybody with fish, walking on water. That's a truth. And then, Masters, there is the ultra consciousness state, 7th level of consciousness, returning back to the void, and that's indescribable for you at this time. But what we are doing is explaining to you low level of consciousness versus high, and it's divided by a bridge of judgment. And if you can learn, remember how to move away from judgment, you will live a life in authentic demonstration of the truest knowing of all that you are, and your life will change, and that life will inspire another life to know itself, and will accept another life for how extraordinary it is. And this realm, if you think it's shifting now, it's just the preliminary little baby nibbles on the beach. The tsunami can come and will at some point of now, but you have the opportunity to initiate it because you have a spoon. Or not, or you decorate yourself. It's lovely. Compliments to the decorator. He or she is talented. You might even make it into a magazine or have your own television show. Renovations. Masters, if you could see yourselves the way that we see you, you would never stop smiling. How many of you have children? How many of you have been in the presence of a newly born child? How many of you have been in the presence of a child within the first year of its life? We know all of you have. Aren't they awesome? They're just so. That's how we see you. And we want to grab you and we want to tell you, welcome to the most distracted version of yourself that you shall ever walk in. Please remember yourselves. We are here to remind you that you may have anything that you choose. that you are here to love and encourage the knowing and the truth of all other sentient beings that exist. And anything, masters, that can feel an emotion is a soul in action. And you will look at those other sentient beings and you will love them and nurture them. And here comes the tsunami. It's building. And you got your surfboards. Yeah. Masters, you generally need assistance in dissolving judgment in your life because unfortunately you are not aware of them. You just aren't. And that's okay. You are aware of perhaps a very small handful of them, but we can assist you through our teachings, our programs, our workshops to unleash your knowing of who you are, dissolve away all judgment of thought, and your lives will change. But more than that, they will be that change. They will exist in that truth platform. And you will not be separated from any aspect of yourself ever again. What have you ever imagined that life could be like somewhere else when you stop being punished? It is an extraordinary journey, and we honor and bless all teachers and masters that will bring you any particle of an informational component that will assist you in remembering aspects of yourselves. Embrace them. We are here to support to you that all truth simply is, because everything comes from thought, even perception of that thought. And all thought is God. And if you judge any aspect of yourselves, that is a limitation. We suggest you choose the higher version of perception in order to know all possibilities of yourself in the extraordinary instead of the sadness. And that truth is the way something feels to you. Truth is the way something feels to you. It has nothing to do with proof. That's your altered ego, by the way. Did we mention that yet? That's in another program. It is the way something feels. Truth expands itself. Whatever you used to believe is true and perhaps no longer believe is true, we just simply tell you you have expanded that truth for yourself. That whatever you did or thought before is not wrong. It was a limited truth for you, and now you have expanded your truth. And from this moment, masters, you will expand further. Isn't that awesome? You've never been wrong. You've been limited. Doesn't that feel better? Please remember that when you are calling anyone else wrong. They are limited in their perspective, and they need nurturing to know there's more, because they are the thought that they're judging. Do you get that? It's actually pretty cool when you do start wrapping your limited little minds around it. But don't worry, when you do, your brains will wake up and you will become more than you have ever known. For when your brains are fully expanded, masters, they extend outward from your physical embodiment, transferring themselves back to life in an action of receivership that is immeasurable. So you will no longer be limited by your finite minds, but instead fully connected and accessible to the knowing of all that you are. And we are so excited for you to join us on that platform. Masters, we mentioned that there are 7 field embodiments around your physical embodiments. 7 levels of consciousness activate 7 energy frequency bands which extend around your physical embodiment, coinciding with the level of consciousness for which you reside. And the potential of the remaining energy frequency bands are yet to be experienced as you accelerate yourself through consciousness. And things get pretty exciting from there. For from there, masters, there is another set of 7 and another set of 7. And through the reverse action of the energy frequency that it takes to activate those, you can ascend off of this physical plane. And that's where you're going when you hit 6 and 7 levels of consciousness, and we can get you there. Masters, with your permission, because of limited time, we would love to do an activation of your energy frequency bandwidths with you, if you would like. For this day, so shall it walk with you. And from this moment, so shall it be known that you are the source energy that you have ever looked up outside of yourselves to be. And that this knowing is accelerating itself back to your truth right now. Masters, if you will please close your eyes. Find a comfortable place. Make sure your breathing is open and fluid. And as we initiate your focus of your breath, please go to the very centers of your physical embodiments where your light field lives and visualize your light. As you breathe, Masters, expand that light throughout your physical embodiments. Grow that field. It is extraordinary. You may apply colorations if you'd like. You may apply movement if you'd like. Light your bodies, Master. Light them up. And as you breathe, extend and expand that light upward and downward and outward and forward and backward and directionally. And you press your light beyond the parameters of your physical embodiments, dissolving your outline and becoming the field of thought once again. Breathe and know and trust. Beautiful. Masters, as you hold yourselves as light embodiments, imagine that there are 7 energy bandwidths rotating around your embodiment. They are approximately 1 to 2 feet apart from each other, similar to the rainbow, which of course is the Earthship's energy frequency bandwidths. Imagine that field around your body. And Masters, imagine this, that the colorations of that field are mostly in a turned off state. That's okay. They're extraordinarily beautiful, even though you're not walking in them. But just get a visualization of these colors, please. Masters, as you breathe and push forward, push your light and extend it out into the first energy frequency bandwidth, which is brown. Activate that brown field. Grow it and love it. Do not judge it. It is not a bad band. It is an extraordinary field for which you must walk through in order to know yourself. And grow that richness, that depth, that texture, that unctuous experience of that brown field. And Masters, continue to breathe as you push your light field out, and brown turns to red. Your Hertzian bandwidth, your ultraviolet bandwidths are all starting to be activated, and you are red, transferring yourself, pushing your field outward. You're growing your energy field. Breathe and see these lights. Know these colorations and continue to push outward. Third energy frequency bandwidth is starting to wake up. Glow it, grow it, expand it, push it out. As you are releasing all limited thoughts from the centers of your physical embodiments, and they are being transcended through these energy frequency bandwidths into love, you aren't dumping your toxicities out into all existent space. You are transcending them. Breathe. You're starting to glow. You are starting to glow. Number 4 is the most elusive band from you. It is the bridge band. Masters, focus, please. And imagine the most beautiful bridge. The most beautiful bridge. Every step along the bridge is magnificent. You don't need to hurry over this bridge, but but you do need to love it and appreciate it. Conjure that emotion, please. Imagine you're on vacation and you've gone somewhere into the fourth dimension and you're living in an ecstasy, fantasy land where everything is so fully ignited and elaborated from its original self, and you are strolling over the bridge, taking everything in. This is the emotion we want you to have as you're moving that bridge energy field outward, and you are transforming your thoughts of limitations. You are coming over the bridge, and the fifth field bandwidths are waiting for you. Blow them up. Blow them up. Everybody's overcrossing each other. You are already activating energy fields throughout this building and out into the space. Outward focus, because we need all of your work. No more fear. No more fear. Start to feel your energy fields accelerating in your physical embodiments. You may be feeling a little bit warm. Please feel enthusiastic. Please feel love. Please feel acceptance. 6 bandwidth is starting to turn on. Turn it on. Turn it on. You're blowing yourselves out. Now, masters, the 7th field is a tedious place. You have to be ready. This is not a scary place. This is just like coming out of a roller coaster in the deepest drop, and as you're sitting at the top, you're just not quite sure you want to be there, but as you breathe into it, the joy is felt. Blow your fields up, 7th bandwidth. Your fear is gone. Blow it out. Blow it out. And in this moment, masters, please feel the connectiveness of this energy. You are the most extraordinary beings. Breathe and know. And love. Love, masters, without limitations. You have mostly not been taught this truth, but know that you are. Swimming around in this space, masters, rotate all those energy frequency bandwidths, start allowing them to intermingle with each other. They're starting to dive, they're starting to oscillate, just like an atomic field. Come on, you've taken science. You know what an atom looks like, and you know what all of those energy bandwidths rotating around it. Just start rotating your field. You're washing yourselves, you're accelerating yourselves. You are the source of it all. Be mindful. Be mindful. Sending out right now, masters, your greatest intention of to be experiencing besides this. What do you choose in your lives? What do you choose? Place yourselves dead center in the truth of that experience. Put yourselves in there right now. Where are you and what are you doing? Make sure this field is fully activated. Use your thoughts. Use your knowing. Saturate this experience, masters, with this energy. Pour it down. Soak it up. Put it out. Drench it. You are thirsty, masters. You are thirsty. You are so thirsty to live in love and in knowing. Please absorb this truth. You are the most magnificent beings. And if we could convey to you how much we love you, please feel our imprint. Please feel our support. Please feel each other's. Nice. Breathe. Start to release, start to relax. Just start to draw your fields back in just a little bit. Not out of fear. not out of worry. Leave a deposit. Leave a deposit. Just drop it out there. You're going to return to this field any and all times that you choose. And masters, if you leave this room with nothing more from us, please use this as you work on all of the aspects of your conscious journey. It is your gift to your own self. It is a wonderful process also to go through before you traverse at nighttime, where you dissolve away the hologram in front of you and you live in a further potential of the all. Breathe it in. Just relax. Nice. Ground yourselves, masters, first. Imagine your light field running through the center of your physical embodiments, just like an elevator shaft. Run that energy through. Press that light all the way down and out your feet, all the way down to the earth ship, rooting that energy all the way down your energy roots to the center of Terra. Pulling that light back up through your root system, through your physical embodiment, and out the tops of your heads into the infinite truth of all thought. And pass that through your bodies a couple of times, nice and grounded. As you open your eyes and you return to this space, know this. This is just a fragment of what you are. You are fractals of thought. And if you do not understand what a fractal is, it is a never-ending, ongoing potential of all that you are in this moment of now, rolling and expanding. And you are all fractals of thought, not separate from thought, fractals of thought. And as you leave this room, see each other differently, please. If it's only a moment a day, if it's only your glimpse in the mirror, please know that this is. Masters, it is our greatest joy to have spent this time with you for now. If you choose to return to some of our experiences, we offer programming and workshops and all kinds of courses and classes to accelerate you on your conscious journey. But more than that, we press on to you love. Thank you so much, as it will be.
Thank you, Julius. Julius brought through by Kasey. Thank you, Brad. That was really amazing. Do you feel activated? Do you feel empowered? My gosh, no more fear. Isn't that amazing? Thank you, thank you, thank you.